You are surrounded by endless white silence. Winds scream across the ice at over 100 miles per hour. The temperature bites through every layer of clothing you own. Your breath freezes before it leaves your mouth. Nothing should survive here. Nothing should have ever lived here. Now imagine drilling thousands of feet beneath that ice, pulling up a core of ancient rock, and finding, pressed into the stone, the unmistakable shape of a root, a leaf, a branch. How could the coldest place on Earth once be alive? Today, Antarctica feels like the end of the world. 98% of the continent lies buried under ice, some of it nearly 3 miles thick. Temperatures can fall below -80 degrees Fahrenheit. No trees, no rivers, no birdsong, just wind and white and silence stretching to every horizon. For centuries, explorers who reached this place described it as a wasteland, beautiful but utterly lifeless. A continent seemingly built to reject life itself. But scientists kept digging. And what they found didn't just surprise them. It rewrote what they thought they knew about this frozen world. In the 1980s, researchers working in the Transantarctic mountains uncovered something that shouldn't have existed. Fossilized tree trunks, standing upright, still rooted in ancient soil. Not fragments. Not driftwood. Whole trunks, preserved for tens of millions of years, locked in stone less than 500 miles from the South Pole. Then came the pollen. Buried in sediment cores pulled from beneath the ice sheet itself, scientists found microscopic grains from ancient flowering plants, the kind that need warmth, sunlight, and rainfall to survive. Later expeditions found fossilized leaves so well preserved you could count their veins. Beetle wings. Fragments of ancient wood. All of it sealed away beneath a continent now defined by ice. If ancient mysteries like this fascinate you, subscribe, because what you're about to see is even harder to believe. Close your eyes and travel back. Not hundreds of years. Not thousands. Try 90 million years, to the middle of the Cretaceous period, the age of dinosaurs. You are standing in a forest. Ferns brush against your legs. Tall conifers rise around you, their branches heavy with green. Rivers wind through the landscape, fed by rain that falls in long, warm seasons. Somewhere nearby, small dinosaurs move through the undergrowth. This is Antarctica. But it doesn't look like Antarctica at all. 4 months at a time, the sun barely sets. The same polar tilt that today brings endless darkness instead brought endless daylight, fueling a strange, thriving ecosystem adapted to that rhythm of light. Research published on West Antarctic sediment cores has estimated that summer temperatures here may have reached into the high 60s Fahrenheit, with swampy, temperate forests spreading across land now buried under nearly 2 miles of ice. This wasn't a brief warm spell. Antarctica held forests for an extraordinary stretch of Earth's history. Because for most of that time, Antarctica wasn't where it is now. Around 500 million years ago, this land was part of the supercontinent Gondwana, joined to what is now South America, Africa, India, and Australia. As Gondwana slowly broke apart over tens of millions of years, Antarctica drifted, inch by inch, year by year, toward its current position at the bottom of the globe. But drifting south didn't mean freezing instantly. For a long time, ocean currents still carried warmth toward the pole, and the forests held on. Then, roughly 34 million years ago, something changed the world. Antarctica's neighbors, South America and Australia, pulled away for the final time, opening deep water gaps known today as the Drake Passage and the Tasmanian Gateway. For the first time, ocean water could flow completely around Antarctica, uninterrupted by any landmass. This created the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, a massive ring of frigid water that still circles the continent today, cutting it off from the warmer currents that once reached its shores. Isolated, encircled by cold water, Antarctica's climate began to collapse inward. At roughly the same time, scientists believe atmospheric carbon dioxide levels were falling, the result of long-term geological processes occurring over millions of years. Lower CO2 meant a cooler global climate, and Antarctica, already isolated by its new ocean current, had nothing left to protect it. Snow that once melted each summer began to stay. Layer built on layer. Year after year, century after century, ice crept across the land that forests had called home for millions of years. The forests didn't vanish in a single dramatic moment. They retreated, slowly losing ground, generation by generation, until the last of them finally gave way to permanent snow. And then the ice never stopped growing. Today it holds 70% of the planet's fresh water, frozen in place above the ghosts of a world that used to breathe. If you're still watching, comment what you think scientists might discover beneath Antarctica next, because researchers are still drilling, still searching, right now. This is why those fossils matter so much. Every root, every grain of pollen, every fragment of ancient wood is a message sent across tens of millions of years. It tells us this frozen place was not always frozen. That ice is not Antarctica's only identity. It's a chapter, not the whole story. Scientists studying these ancient climates aren't just satisfying curiosity. Understanding how Antarctica transformed from forest to ice sheet helps researchers understand how Earth's climate systems behave over deep time, how oceans, currents, and atmospheric changes can reshape an entire continent. Some questions remain open. Exactly how warm certain periods were, or how quickly some of these transitions happened, are still active areas of research. Hypotheses refined as new ice cores and sediment samples are analyzed. But the core discovery isn't in question. The evidence is literally frozen into the rock. Trees stood here. Rivers flowed here. Life, in all its ancient strangeness, called this place home. Stand again in that endless white silence. Feel the wind that never stops. Look out at a horizon with nothing but ice in every direction. An entire world existed here. Lived here. Disappeared here. Beneath miles of ice, the ghosts of forests still sleep, waiting, perhaps, for the next drill, the next core sample, the next fragment of evidence to bring them back into the light of human understanding. What else is still down there, hidden beneath the ice, waiting to be found? If this kind of hidden history keeps you hooked, subscribe. Because Earth still has secrets buried in its coldest places, and we've barely begun to uncover them.